Good afternoon and welcome everyone to A Gathering Place, brought to you by the Gullah Geechee Chamber of Commerce and hosted by me, Marilyn Hemingway. And thank you for joining us this Wednesday at 4 o'clock. And today we have a very timely, who knew it, a timely topic we're going to talk about, and also a financial empowerment educator and speaker. She's an expert in her field, and she's going to give us some education and some knowledge that I think we all need to know. And that's all going to happen right after this opening.
Hello, I'm Marilyn Hemingway, and welcome to A Gathering Place. I said, I'm stepping back because we have young voices who want to be heard, and they're moving on something.
Branding is really important to you and your business.
Even the basic type of technology, you learn it all.
And people are
Good question. Well, folks, we're back and we've got a good informational show for you. If you've been paying attention, you've probably seen some stuff on our social media, and I'm sure you have. We have a cryptocurrency education workshop and lunch coming up this Friday, 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. at the Embassy Suites Conference Center. We want you to get registered now. Cryptocurrency, now is the time to get educated about this. And we have an education empowerment speaker and educator with us today, Miss Charlene Fadirepo, and she's joining us to share the information with us. Because if you've been paying attention to the news, and let's just say it, you've heard about FTX, but we know you got to get educated. Gullah Geechee Chamber of Commerce believes that we should educate our community and beyond so you can make informed decisions. So we're just delighted that you're with us this morning. This afternoon, right? Folks, I need to get my time together, right? You know, it's that time change, y'all. But this afternoon, we welcome Miss Charlene Fadirepo with Mango Digital Strategies. Let's go ahead and bring her in. Charlene, it is so good to have you with us today.
Hi, Marilyn. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. Hello to the Gullah Geechee Chamber of Commerce community.
Thank you. We're delighted to have you with us, and let's talk a little bit about who you are, your background in financial empowerment. And by the way, I love that. Just financial empowerment. We usually hear about financial literacy, but I always go get financial literacy, but it always kind of makes me feel like I'm dumb, and I don't want to feel that way when I know I need to learn more. So to hear the term financial empowerment, it's very empowering. Thank you. So I'm glad you used that term and everything. But tell us a little bit about yourself and your background. How did you even get into this field?
Indeed. Well, thank you, Marilyn. So I'm a Bitcoin educator and advocate. I have about 15 years of experience in the traditional financial world. I've worked at a couple different banks, HSBC, Citigroup, and more recently, I worked at the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. So I have a regulatory background. So I've been in crypto a couple of years. And I love that you highlighted the fact that I work in the financial empowerment space, because that's exactly what crypto allows us to do. It allows us to take control of our financial lives and build wealth on our terms. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But it's so important. My company is Mango Digital Strategies. We are a strategic consulting firm. We help entrepreneurs and other mission-driven organizations future-proof their businesses through cryptocurrency. So we run cryptocurrency education workshops. We help companies figure out their roadmap to bring cryptocurrency into their business strategy. Now, we really are like a trusted advisor if you're interested in moving in the cryptocurrency direction.
All right, very good. So it sounds like you've been doing this a while. I'm glad you come out of that regulatory field, so you have that understanding. So, that's really good to know. How are you nationwide?
I am nationwide. I support business owners kind of across the United States, and more recently been traveling quite a bit and giving cryptocurrency workshops around the US. There's so much interest in this space, and it's so important for us to really be focused on getting solid, reputable education so that we can make good decisions as to whether or not cryptocurrency is right for you.
Very good. So that's your background and everything. And thank you very much for sharing that with us. So let's get into what we're here to talk about. And I'm really basic, so I'm going to start with a real basic question here. What is cryptocurrency?
Okay, so cryptocurrency at 100,000 feet is just money. But it's not just money, right? Cryptocurrency is digital money that allows for fast, efficient global payments without the use of a bank. And so the real question is, if we're not using a bank, what are we using? Well, we're using technology called blockchain technology. And a blockchain is a digital ledger that stores payment information across a peer-to-peer network of computers. That sounds like a mouthful, but essentially that is what crypto is. And it's so important that when we hear the term crypto, we realize that crypto is an umbrella term. There are 9,000 types of cryptocurrencies available for you to examine and possibly purchase. And they're definitely not all created equal, and not all of them are worth our time and attention. And so it can be so overwhelming to try to understand the space. But I always encourage people to start with one. And what I always like to tell you is that you should start with the first cryptocurrency, the most dominant cryptocurrency, the oldest cryptocurrency, which is Bitcoin. And so starting with Bitcoin as your North Star, that will help you better understand the entire space and decide whether or not you want to move from Bitcoin to other cryptocurrencies.
So tell me a little bit about Bitcoin, because I've heard about Bitcoin. And where was that started? How was it started?
Bitcoin was born in the year 2009. And so here's the thing. Cryptocurrency as an industry is 13 years old, and it started with the birth of Bitcoin, if you will. Bitcoin is the first cryptocurrency, the most dominant one. The most special part of Bitcoin is that it is provably scarce. It has a hard supply cap of 21 million Bitcoin. Now, there are lots of different factors that separate different cryptocurrencies, but supply is one of the most important factors that separates, that makes Bitcoin different than many other cryptocurrencies.
So when you say supply, what do you mean by supply?
Supply means the number of coins that are available, that are created in this particular cryptocurrency asset class. For example, there's a certain supply number for Ethereum coins. There's a certain supply number for Dogecoin. Unfortunately, there are many cryptocurrencies that have an unlimited supply, which means they can be created at whim. And of course, if you have any asset with an unlimited supply, think about diamonds. Reason why diamonds are really expensive, because they're provably scarce. So when you have assets that have an unlimited supply, they do not have a significant value. You know, the scarcity part of Bitcoin is the number one reason why Bitcoin is your North Star. And that provably scarce, truly decentralized and provably scarce property of Bitcoin doesn't exist for any other cryptocurrency.
Okay, so I under that. Thanks for explaining that so well. That makes a lot of sense. A question I've always had is, once you say purchase the Bitcoin, that limited supply, what can you do with it? How can you take that Bitcoin and say go buy a house, which just recently happened in Columbia, South Carolina? Someone was able to purchase a house with cryptocurrency. And I'm going to use cryptocurrency as a generic term because I don't know if they used Bitcoin, but they did purchase a house. So how do you translate it from this cryptocurrency to an actual, say, house or buying a loaf of bread?
Yeah, indeed. And so, Marilyn, I love this question because what you're talking about is probably the most exciting part of crypto, which is called the utility. How are we using this? So you can use crypto for a form of payment, right? So you can use Bitcoin to buy a house. Absolutely. You can also use Bitcoin or crypto to raise money for a business. You can use it to, and also if you are an artist, you can use cryptocurrency to monetize your creations. The example that you're talking about was that person was able to buy a property using a non-fungible token, which is a specific type of crypto on the Ethereum blockchain. A little fuzzy there, but that is they were able to buy a house using Ethereum.
So in that case, then the seller of the house gets paid through the Ethereum.
That's
then
great.
you can go take that and invest it in more.
And actually, they can invest it in they could hold it because it will grow in value, or they could sell it. And you might be asking yourself, well, why in the world would I want to buy a house using Ethereum? Well, here's the thing. People are using cryptocurrency to streamline the home buying process, right? If you're using cryptocurrency, you don't have to use a title company, which means you save on fees. And in some cases, you might not even need to use a mortgage loan processor. Can you imagine how much cheaper your mortgage would be if you didn't have to pay all of those fees? Because your crypto already has value. You match your crypto to the value of the house, and there's a direct transaction from you as the new buyer from the seller to the buyer. That is why people are thinking about cryptocurrency.
So if you streamline these industries, such as buying a house, how does that impact the other industries? Are they forced then to get better and provide better services to the consumers?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the other wonderful things about crypto. Like as a whole, crypto is actually encouraging the entire banking industry to be more efficient, to be better, and to provide better financial services. It is an innovation just like any other innovation. And when you have pressure on a system and you have other competitors, then the system gets a lot better. And what's so interesting, there are government agencies that are around the housing. They're thinking about using blockchain technology to improve and make the home buying process more efficient. So this is just a good news for consumers. It's a good news for, it's also a good news for business owners, right? If it is cheaper to get a particular process done, it's cheaper for the business owner. And of course, it's going to be cheaper for us as a consumer. That's another reason why crypto is so important. It is actually modernizing the banking and payment and financial ecosystem that we use every day.
You know, you mentioned crypto and a form of money, and I recently viewed a PBS Nova documentary about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. And as we go through this educational process of learning more about it, not only the workshop there that we are partnering with on Friday, but you could go to these documentaries, like a PBS, which is well respected, and learn more also. And of course, you know, come and meet with Miss Charlene and learn from her too. But what they featured a money museum, which I thought was fascinating. And you know, you think about money, but you don't really think about it as something that you would find in a museum. But they talked about the history of money and how there have been different types of money or representation of money in the past, from large stone wheels to bigger than you and I, to beads. And we hear about the Native Americans, and they use beads to barter and trade with. And what it came down to was a social agreement, a social contract, if you will, that we agree that this has value. So with cryptocurrency, it's another form of money, and there's an agreement that this has value. All right. So if we've been paying attention to the news recently, we know that agreement has been broken to a certain extent by a company, FTX, where, let's be honest, billions have been lost by folks overnight. And so the agreement was broken between the owner of FTX, the founder of FTX, and those he was providing that service to. As a consumer, what should I know in these circumstances? What should I take from what's going on with FTX as I start this process in getting educated about cryptocurrency?
And thank you for that question. So, and I know this question is on the hearts of minds of everyone currently, because the FTX collapse is huge. And so if we take a step back, let's talk about what FTX does. So FTX is roughly the third largest cryptocurrency exchange. Last week they failed, which means they filed for bankruptcy protection. So when an exchange fails, or when any company fails, it means that they don't have the funds available to meet their obligations. So the details around the failure are still in flux. But what we do know is that FTX did not have good governance controls in place. They did not have a board of directors in place, and their management team made risky bets with customer funds. And those bets did not work out well and resulted in significant harm. The whole collapse of FTX is unfortunate for the industry, but this is an example of what can happen when you have bad actors in the space. I believe this will be good for regulators because they can see a clear path for investor protections. But as a consumer, you might be concerned. There's some really specific things that you can do to protect yourself from an FTX situation. The first thing you can do is be very thoughtful about your choice of exchange. So remember, a cryptocurrency exchange is the platform that you use to purchase cryptocurrency. You have lots of different choices of exchanges. I'd recommend that you look at exchanges that are public companies, right? They're public companies that are audited by large audit firms, companies that have been around for a long time. Unfortunately, FTX was a private company that had only been around for 3 years. So you really want to be thoughtful in your choice of exchange. The other thing I have to point out is that in addition to choosing your exchange, you can choose how you store your crypto. If you chose to store your crypto on FTX, the exchange, when the exchange failed, you would lose your crypto. If you chose to not store your crypto on the exchange, like you chose a non-custodial wallet, even if FTX failed, you would not lose your crypto. So even as a consumer, with a terrible collapse as this, you have lots of different choices to protect yourself from the bad decisions of crypto exchange owners.
That's a lot of good information. Yes, I agree I posted something, this is great info. Yes, it is great info. It's pretty straightforward. Let me ask you, let's back it up just a little bit here. So you were talking about where you store your cryptocurrency, your Bitcoin, whatever you decide to purchase. What do you mean by storage? What do you mean where that is stored?
Well, here's a quick example. If you go to the grocery store and you buy your groceries, you can, if you left your groceries at the store, you could leave them at the store. But if you want to take them home, you take them with you. So 2 types of wallets: custodial wallet, non-custodial wallet. If you're using a custodial wallet, then you're entrusting the exchange to be the custodian of your crypto. Now, that is actually very much like what we do today. When you are using a bank is acting as your custodian. If you're using direct deposit, that direct deposit money is coming from your employer directly into your bank, right? So this custodial relationship is very comfortable for people, and it's absolutely acceptable. However, perhaps you don't want to custody your crypto with the exchange. And if you don't, you use what's called a non-custodial wallet, where you are acting as the custodian. And so they're software non-custodial wallets, and they're also hardware non-custodial wallets. And that's why this idea of financial education is so important, because not only do you want to be really smart about choosing an exchange, hopefully a public company that is audited by an audit firm and a company that has been around for a long time, and you can choose how you choose to store your crypto.
Very good. And then go back a little bit further when you first opened this, and you said, find out if your company is public where you want to make your purchase. So that takes research, so that does take some research. So is it good to do this research? Say, can I Google this information, or is there a particular website that maintains just where all these companies are, or do I contact the federal government? Where do I go to start the research?
Yeah, good question. So, there are lots of different places. Unfortunately, there's not one place you can go to get all this cryptocurrency research. But what I will tell you, as you come across different exchange partners, they are very transparent in terms of how they're structured, whether or not they're public versus private. They talk to you about their fees, and they will also share their services. It's important to know that not all exchanges are created equal, and they all have different services that they provide. But Marilyn, your point is so important, because cryptocurrency is not a space where you throw some money over the fence and then run away. You really want to commit to financial education in the space. You want to do your own research to select your exchange partner, do your own research to select how you're going to store your crypto, and of course, do your own research as to the cryptocurrency that you choose to purchase. You need to have a thoughtful approach to your purchase of cryptocurrency. And I always encourage people to start very small with small amounts. And as you start small and get more comfortable in the space, then you can build your position over it.
That sounds like good advice. I'm so glad you came on. Because you sound like you know what you're talking about. So that's a good thing. And I'm sure listeners out there, our viewers, and those who've posted, I've always wanted to learn more about crypto. I agree. I have too. It's just been this kind of like nebulous ghost out there that you hear about, and it's floating around, but it's like, how do I grab on it and learn more? So you have really done a great job in just bringing it down to earth. So I just want to express my appreciation to you, and I look forward to our educational workshop on Friday. Before you leave, and I think, tell us, what else do we know? What do you want to make sure that we know, taking away from this conversation?
I want your viewers to know that this space is the future, right? Whether you're an investor and you're trying to expand and diversify your portfolio, whether you are an entrepreneur and you are trying to offer new and interesting products to your customers, whether you are a job seeker and you would like to move into this direction, this is your opportunity, particularly for communities of color, to not be left behind. There is a space, there is a lane of cryptocurrency for everybody. But the first step is to become an investor. And then when you want to decide to become an investor, you absolutely have to invest in your education in the space and realize that it is a sprint. It is not a sprint, it's a marathon. So once you learn a little bit, you have to continue to build and build and build. And you will be glad you did.
That's good information, a good note to end this conversation on. And I'm looking forward to learning more myself. And I'm glad that I was able to just spend some time with you, Charlene, and share this information with you. You are correct. This is a marathon. We need to get educated. That's the Gullah-Geechee Chamber is big. That's a big deal for us, that our community and beyond, we get educated about financial empowerment, about investments, about the environment, about entrepreneurship, social impact. We have a host of topics that we want to educate our community and beyond regarding, so we can make informed decisions. I want to thank you for coming on today and sharing with us. Good notes to end on, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in person.
Indeed. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Charlene. You be safe out there, and I'll be seeing you very soon.
Take care.
Thank you. Y'all, that was Miss Charlene Fadirepo joining us. She is a financial empowerment speaker and also educator. And she just really spent about 20 minutes with us, really educating us. And I just want to remind everybody that this Friday, we are having a cryptocurrency education workshop this Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. It is free. in partnership with Robinhood and Mango Digital Strategies at the Embassy Suites Conference Center, North Charleston, South Carolina. That's 5055 International Boulevard in North Charleston, South Carolina. Just go ahead and click on that a QR code, and it'll take you right to our registration form, because we need to know who's coming so we can make sure that you get lunch. All right, and it's you just that little bit of teaser we had today, 20 minutes of really good information. You get even more this Friday. I want to remind everybody that a gathering place is every Wednesday and Sunday at 4:00, and this coming Sunday it's politics talk. Yep, the gang is getting together. We're going to talk about the midterms and moving forward in South Carolina, and joining me as usual is Jamar Brown, who's co-executive director of the Texas Democratic State Party, and Brandon Upson, founder of Amplify Action, and a whole bunch of other things. And we all have it together. I'm aging ourselves, at least me, more than 50 years of political experience. Can you believe that? But every third Sunday we get together and we do politics talks. Once again want to thank Ms. Charlene for joining us today. Want to remind everybody, this Friday, 11 a.m., free workshop, free lunch about cryptocurrency. Come get educated. It's an education workshop. What it really is, how to avoid scams. And if it's right for you, just go ahead and take a snapshot of that QR code and get registered right now. Go ahead, folks, and get registered right now so you can get educated about cryptocurrency, because yes, there's a lot going on right now, but if you want to know what it really is, how to avoid the scams, and if it's right for you, come on out to this education workshop. Really appreciate you joining us. Once again, everyone, thank you for joining us for a gathering place where we gather with our change makers who make an impact in the Gullah Geechee community so we can all move forward. Thank you, and we'll see you Sunday.